Every midnight, when the moon is full and crimson, just like the blood moon that we had last night, there is a girl that walks alone through the charred remains of the village. Her long, flowing locks drag across the cold, hard ground, kicking up dust devils in the still of the night. She walks alone, her head held high, ignoring the whispers of the old village that clings to the side of the hill, watching her every move. None dare speak her name, for even the utterance of it brings bad luck. Some say she's a vengeful spirit, doomed to wander the earth until the day she finds peace. Others say she's a demon, come to drag the sinners of the village to hell. But all agree on one thing: she died in the fire. It was 3 years ago today that the great fire of Oakhaven consumed everything in its path, reducing it to ashes and leaving behind only the stench of death and decay. It took weeks for the fire to be put out, so much so that by the time help arrived, nothing could be done. All that was left were the charred remains of the once great town and the people trapped within it, their bodies reduced to cinders. The few survivors fled into the hills, vowing to never return. And since then, not a single soul has dared set foot in Oakhaven, not until last night. See, the story goes like this. A young man named Thomas dared to venture into the ruins of Oakhaven to see for himself the horrors of that fateful night. He wanted to know what happened here, what led to such destruction, and maybe find some answers for his own demons. See, Thomas lost his entire family in the fire, his parents, his little sister, even his dog, Sparky. But he survived because he wasn't home. That night he was visiting his grandparents in the neighboring town of Willow Creek. But every night since the fire, he's dreamed of his family burning to death, their screams echoing in his ears and their faces burned into his mind. So he decided that he needed to see their remains, needed to find their bodies and give them a proper burial. Maybe if he could do that, then their spirits could finally rest. So with a shovel in hand and a lantern on his head, he walked into the ruins of Oakhaven, careful not to disturb anything. And soon he found the remains of his parents and little sister, even Sparky. He carefully dug them up, placing them into bags, and started the long walk home, planning to bury them in his backyard. But he didn't get very far, for as he walked past the old well, he heard a voice. "Who's there?" Thomas froze, his blood running cold. Could it be? Was someone else out here in the ruins? Whoever it was, they sounded scared, desperate even. "Hello," Thomas called out, trying to sound brave. "Is anyone there?" But the only reply was the sound of the wind whistling through the trees and the crickets chirping in the grass. So he continued on, burying his family in his backyard and placing flowers on their graves. Then he went inside, locked the doors and windows, and tried to forget about what he had seen and heard. But he couldn't. Not long after midnight, he heard it again, a voice whispering his name. And then he saw it, a shadow moving outside his window. He watched in horror as a girl with long, flowing hair dragged herself across his lawn, her headstone dragging along the ground. And as she neared his window, he saw her face, pale as moonlight, eyes glowing an eerie blue in the darkness. Thomas screamed, scrambling back from the window as the girl looked up at him, a sad smile on her face. Then she turned and walked away, disappearing into the darkness. Now no one knows what happened next, for Thomas was never seen again. Some say he joined her, walking into the night to meet his demise. Others say he's still in his house, too scared to leave. And then there's the sound of hair brushing against the floorboards, the sound that still haunts the survivors of Oakhaven to this very day, the sound that drives them mad, the sound that makes them run. I don't know about you, but I heard that last part. I heard the sound of her hair brushing the floor. How about you? Did you hear it? Did you hear the sound of her hair brushing the floor?